Hoy vamos a estudiar los nombres de los libros de la Torá. El primero se llama Bereshit, con el Principado los cielos y tierra creó. El segundo se llama Shemot, son los nombres de los hijos de Israel que a Egipto descendieron y luego Elohim los liberó. La Torá es un regalo del Eterno para estudiar. Tiene muchos tesoros que encontrar. Vamos todos a estudiar la Torá. El tercero se llama Vaikra. El Eterno llamó a Moisés, pues quería acercarse al pueblo de Israel. El cuarto se llama Bemidbar. En la estepa Israel peregrinó y muchas pruebas pasaron ahí, pero el Eterno nunca los dejó. La Torá es un regalo del Eterno para estudiar. Tiene muchos tesoros que encontrar. Vamos todos a estudiar la Torá. La Torá es un regalo del Eterno para estudiar. Tiene muchos tesoros que encontrar. Vamos todos a estudiar la Torá. El quinto se llama Devarim, son las palabras que el Eterno repitió a una nueva generación, y así en su tierra pudieran habitar. La Torá es un regalo del Eterno para estudiar. Tiene muchos tesoros que encontrar. Vamos todos a estudiar la Torá. La Torá es un regalo del Eterno para estudiar. Tiene muchos tesoros que encontrar. Vamos todos a estudiar la Torá. Vamos todos a estudiar la Torá. Vamos todos a estudiar la Torá.
Cielo Nuevo Niños presents My Little Maná.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, little friend.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom Tomade. Now let's continue with the first chapter of the book of Shemot. Previously in the last delivery, we have seen how the people of Israel have already established themselves in the land of Goshen. The families of the 12 tribes have multiplied, and they are already a very, very large nation. And the promise that we have been seeing since the beginning, which was given to Abraham. The people were already countless as the stars and the sand of the sea. At that time, a new Pharaoh arose, one who did not know Joseph, who, as we saw, had already died. That Pharaoh said, "Look, the Israelites have become far too numerous for us. Come, we must deal shrewdly with them, or they will grow even more numerous, and, if war breaks out, they will join our enemies." So they then imposed foremen and leaders of heavy work by force to overwhelm them with their work. The people of Israel were oppressed by that Pharaoh, but that only made them multiply more and spread out. But the Egyptians only enslaved them more. The Egyptians saw how they would increase in number, so they called the midwives of the Israelites. One of them was called Shifra, and the other was called Pua. They ordered them that if they saw a boy being born, they would make him die, and if it was a girl, they would let her live. But the midwives were afraid of the Eternal because of what they knew he was doing, in addition to the evil involved in doing such a thing, and they paid no attention to Pharaoh. So the Pharaoh called them and asked them why they had not done so. They only replied that they had no opportunity to do anything, since the Hebrew women were not like the Egyptians. Rather, they used to give birth before the midwife arrived. So the Eternal saw their loyalty and favored them. And thanks to them, the Hebrew people multiplied even more and grew and grew. The Egyptian Pharaoh did not care, because he was perverse, and he ordered his people, "Throw into the Nile River every male Hebrew child that is born, but leave every daughter alive." The chapter ends, but lately we have seen that the promise given to the patriarchs was already being fulfilled. The Israelites had faith and expected to be freed, and although they were going through very difficult times, the Eternal had a plan, one in which some of the wonders that were counted for generations among the Israelites will take place. But we will see that in the following portion. Go ahead, Angie.
Thank you, John. Shalom, little friends. Greetings from Angie. We will now continue with chapter 2 of Shemot. A man from the Levi family took a woman from the same tribe. When she conceived and gave birth to a male child, she saw him so special that she hid him for 3 months because of Pharaoh's order. But then the boy grew up, and she couldn't hide him from the Egyptian guards. So she took a papyrus basket and covered it with asphalt and tar, so that it wouldn't sink in the water. And she put the boy in the basket and put him on the bank of the river. But his sister was watching him from afar to see what would happen to him. So she saw that Pharaoh's daughter went down to the river to bathe, and her maidens walking along the river bank saw the basket, and one of the maidens went and took it. And when they opened it, they saw the child crying. And they took him to Pharaoh's daughter, who had compassion of the child, recognizing that the child was Hebrew. It happened that the child's sister came out and asked Pharaoh's daughter if she wanted her to call a Hebrew mother to take care of the child, and Pharaoh's daughter replied, "Go." And the child's sister went out and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Raise this child, and I will repay you." And the child's mother took him and raised him. When the child grew up, the child's mother took him to Pharaoh's daughter, who took him as a son. since she was barren, and called the child Moshe, which means drawn from the rivers. Little friends, we see that the Egyptian guards were looking for the sons of the Hebrews. The father of Moshe made a very intelligent decision to hide Moshe from the guards. So we, little friends, must be intelligent so as not to fall into the traps of this world, just as the Father tries to protect us from this world like a father to his son. And we see an act of compassion from Pharaoh's daughter. Certainly, the Father had a perfect plan for Moshe's life. After some time, Moshe grew up in the Egyptian palace. But one day, while he was walking, he saw an Egyptian guard mistreating a Hebrew, and Moshe made sure no one saw him, and he killed the Egyptian and hid him. The next day, Moshe saw two Hebrews fighting and said to them, "Why are you fighting?" And the Hebrew answered, "Who has made you prince and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" And Moshe was afraid because they already knew what he had done. When Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moshe, but Moshe fled from Pharaoh and went to Midian. And while sitting by a well, he encountered 7 daughters of the priest of Midian. They went to draw water to fill their buckets and to water their sheep. Some shepherds came along and drove them away, but Moshe got up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. When the girls returned to Jethro, their father, he asked them, "Why have you returned so early today?" They answered, "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds, and also drew water for us and watered the flock." Then Jethro said to his daughters, "Where is he? Why did you leave him? Invite him to have something to eat." So his daughters went to call Moshe, who went to Jethro's house and ate. Then Jethro gave his daughter Zipporah to Moshe as a wife, and she gave birth to a son. And Moshe named him Gershom, saying, "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land." Little friends, we see that Moshe was sad and annoyed to see how the Egyptians mistreated the people of Israel, because even though he grew up as an Egyptian, he was a Hebrew, and that led him to act like that, to defend that injustice. And when he fled, he did not know that the Eternal Father would prepare him for a great mission, a special purpose, the liberation of his people. But we will see that later. Thus it happened that after a long time, Pharaoh died, and the people of Israel pleaded to the Eternal because of the status of slavery they had, and the Eternal answered them, and he remembered the pact with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Little friends, this is a great story, don't you think? Let's stay tuned to learn more.
Let's continue with chapter 4 of Shemot. We see in the first part that the Eternal performs amazing acts. Since Moshe doubted that the people of Israel believed that he had been sent by the Eternal to free them from slavery in Egypt. Therefore, Elohim gives him some signs that he would have to do before the people, so that they would trust the words that Moshe would bring them from the Almighty. Do you know what these signs are, little friends? The first was to turn Moshe's staff into a snake. The second was to make his hand sick with leprosy and heal it again. And another sign that he would do in Egypt is turn the water into blood. Can you imagine seeing these impressive acts, little Tomaday? Let's keep going. We also see that Moshe doubts a little about his ability to speak with the people and Pharaoh. To which the Eternal responds in Exodus chapter 4, verse 11 to 12. And who has given a mouth to a man? Or who made the speechless and the deaf, the sighted and the blind? Am I not Elohim? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth, and I will instruct you about what you will speak. Here, although the words of the Eternal are decisive, even so Moshe feels doubt, and this only reflects our humanity. But the Eternal is not limited by our weakness. In this case, he provides help to Moshe, who is his brother Aaron, so that he can help him, accompany him, and be his spokesman before the people. After this, Moshe prepares to leave for Egypt, and the Eternal speaks to him again and anticipates the sentence that Pharaoh will have for the hardness of his heart. We can read it in Exodus chapter 4, verse 21 to 23. Because Elohim had said to Moshe, "When you return to Egypt, consider all the wonders that I have put in your hand, and you will do them in the presence of Pharaoh, although I myself will harden his heart, and he will not let go of the nation. And you shall say to Pharaoh, 'Thus says the Eternal, Israel is my son, my firstborn, and I tell you, let my son go so that he may serve me. But you will refuse to let go. Behold, I am going to kill your son, your firstborn.' And it is not that the Eternal is bad. It is that he already knew that Pharaoh was not going to let the people of Israel go. And unfortunately, it was Pharaoh himself who sought his consequence. Because we will see in the following chapters all the opportunities that the Eternal gives to Pharaoh to repent and let the people of Israel go. But he insists on maintaining his position against the Almighty. Finally, Moshe leaves for Egypt. He meets his brother Aaron on Mount Horeb, and upon arriving in Egypt, they gather all the elders of the sons of Israel. They spoke the words of the Eternal and made the signs before the people, who then believed and exalted the Eternal. Can you imagine, little friends? After so many years of slavery, the long-awaited moment of the liberation of the people of Israel had arrived. This has been my little manna for today. Go ahead, Angie.
Thank you, Joan. After the Eternal confirmed to the Israelite elders the work that he would do through Moshe, he and Aaron appeared before Pharaoh to demand that he set the people of Israel free, saying to him, "This is what the Eternal Elohim of Israel says. Let the people of Israel go, so that they may hold a celebration to me in the desert." Exodus chapter 5, verse 1. Pharaoh was abusive. He did not want to lose so many workers. He was arrogant. He did not want to recognize the power of Elohim over his gods. So he answered them. "Who is the Eternal?" answered Pharaoh, "that I should go obey him and let Israel go? I don't know the Eternal, and I will not let Israel go." Exodus chapter 5, verse 2. Moshe and Aaron told Pharaoh how the Eternal had come out to meet them and ordered them to travel for 3 days towards the desert to serve the Eternal Father there by offering sacrifices. If they did not obey, they would have lamentable consequences such as plague and mortality. Even so, Pharaoh was conceited, and instead of listening to the warnings, he forced the Israelites to work with greater difficulty, since they would no longer be provided with the material to make bricks. Now they had to collect what they needed and still make the same amount required. They suffered from excessive workload. They were mistreated by the Egyptian foreman. And then the leaders complained to Pharaoh, saying, "Why have you treated your servants this way? Your servants are given no straw, yet we are told, 'Make bricks.' Your servants are being beaten, but the fault is with your own people." Exodus chapter 5, verse 15 to 16. Pharaoh treated them as lazy and did not lower down the required number of bricks. The Israelites were very angry with Moshe and Aaron. Everything seemed to be going wrong, but the Eternal had a purpose behind that situation. Moshe cried out, and the Eternal at that time sent an answer, promising freedom. Little friends, this is how we are concluding today's delivery. We learned in this first study of Shemot that the Eternal Father chooses Moshe in this difficult situation within Egypt, and that he will guide him to fulfill his promise. And to review this class, we have a PDF with activities from this teaching. Remember that we will leave the link below in the description with the instructions to do it, with the help of your mom and dad. And don't forget to share your photos and videos of the process and its results. Little friends, for today, we finished the broadcast. Well, it is Shabbat, a day to rest and dedicate it to the study of the Torah. Shabbat Shalom!
Let the children come and come to him. With the Master Yeshua we are going to learn. Let the children come and come to him. Go and show forth in obedience to him. God, the kingdom of heaven of children's is. Let's sing, let us sing, let us sing, God Almighty. Come to serve, that your love is with him. In his Torah to walk and never depart. To learn as a child and never lose my faith. Cause the kingdom of heaven of children's is. Children come and come to him. With the Master Yeshua we are going to learn. Let the children come and come to him. Don't show forth in obedience to him. God, the kingdom of heaven of children's is. Let us sing, let us sing.